Do you recognize the name?
Jabini.
He'll kill you. He'll kill anyone he thinks helps you.
You all think you're so strong, so powerful. But the truth is, you're all weak to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What is going on? It's your boy Preston, PhatSamuraiGuy, back again in the dojo and hanging out with your brother from a different mother. That's right. We have filmmaker, writer, director, special effects. He's done it all. Pirie Martin. Did I say it right?
That's right.
All right. Score some points there. Yes. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And this man looks, he's a extremely busy filmmaker. That's right. Do you see the face? You know he's an extremely hard filmmaker when the face looks a little tired, but the hair is perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's working many hours. He's working hard, man. But we appreciate what you do, and we're gonna get to Psychosis in a little bit, baby. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. But brother, thanks again for hanging out with me today. And how did you get into the film industry, man? Inspirations, motivations, how did it happen?
I reckon it started when I was a kid, probably before I have proper memories. We watched Jurassic Park when I was 4. It came out when I was 3. It came out on video when I was about 4. And my parents
you youngin.
Yeah. But we saw that when I was like a child. And it scared the hell out of me. Like the T-Rex came out and my brother and I ran off and hid. And our parents felt bad. So they showed us the behind the scenes featurette, which came on TV a few weeks later, back when that was still something people did a lot. And we were watching that. They were like, oh, don't worry, it's not real. The dinosaurs aren't real. And we got to see how Stan Winston's studio made the animatronics and how they did the CGI. And I was watching that and I almost fell in love with that more than the film. Wow. And then we got really addicted to filmmaking behind the scenes. We watched all of those old movie magic documentaries, which had like Carnosaur and a lot of the early CGI. And we got to watch how they made Terminator. And I just got so into it that I pretty much decided when I was 4 or 5 that I wanted to be a filmmaker and have just pursued that ever since. I made films when I was a kid with like a shitty little VHS camera, then up to like a DV cam, and then onto a little cinema camera, and then onto digital DSLRs, and I've just been doing it my whole life.
How cool is that, man? And what a perfect movie to get inspired by, Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm. The movie itself and the making of. I mean, it's perfect because you got the groundbreaking CGI at the time, but the practical effects part of it too. Yeah. And a lot of people forget there's way more practical effects. There's very little CGI shots, believe it or not, in Jurassic Park. Yeah. And in comparison to both. So, but yeah,
it was great, cool, man. I kind of have to credit Steven Spielberg a lot, but I think Stan Winston was equally as influential on me when I started out.
Yeah, I was at a sci-fi convention and I think Terminator 3 came out at the time, and Stan was there with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, he was there, and it was just cool seeing Stan and hearing the stories. You know, I mean, this guy, what a pioneer, man! What a pioneer! He saved Predator. That's right. I got the movie poster right there. He saved that movie. Yep. Did you ever see the original design with Jean-Claude Van Damme as the original stunt guy? That. Oh my God, that would have been a totally different movie, you know? Yeah. Speaking of Predator, what did you think of Badlands? I have not seen it yet. What did you think of Badlands?
I haven't seen it either. I've been so out of it the last couple of weeks. I try to go and see things in cinemas, and then I forget or I miss them, or they're only out for like 2 weeks. So I end up missing them a lot. I have to catch up.
It's hard.
I have to see that.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. We'll discuss later on social media once we finally watch the movie. But yeah, man, what a cool story. And Jurassic Park really, one day I'll make a video, one of my most just awe-inspiring, epic, memorable moments in the theater, my movie-going theater experience. Jurassic Park is on there, you know, of course. But man, you've been a part of so many projects. But let's talk about some of them here, and then we're going to get to the horror, baby. We're going to get to the horror. Up first, tell us about Dead of Night.
Dead of Night was that was always just a little project that we put together. That was one of our first films out of film school. It was written by the lead actor, Todd Clappus. He wanted to do something for Tropfest, which I don't know if it's still such a thing, but for a while there, it was one of the biggest film festivals in the world in Sydney. But films had to be 7 minutes. They couldn't be any longer. And it was sort of like a little challenge that turned into a huge festival. And we put that together with the intention of submitting that. And I think we managed to get it to 7 minutes, under 7 minutes. And it was just a strange little noir thriller about a guy stuck in a house with a note that says, the man with the key, he is the one. And he doesn't know what that means, but he's got a gun and he's ready for this guy to turn up. And it kind of just gets a little bit mysterious, and people turn up and he's not sure if they're the right person. And then there's another house and he's got the wrong key to the wrong house. And it's a bit of fun. But it was about one of our first short films.
Hell yeah. I'm getting Stephen King and Alfred Hitchcock vibes from that.
A little bit. Yeah. All black and white as well.
Yeah.
So we had a bit
and now you switched genres a little bit here. You got a little bit of comedy going on here. Andy's Adventure. Yeah. And these two guys, these two handsome lads look familiar.
Yes. This film ended up almost being an audition for them for Psychosis, which we made the following year. But there were a few films, and I've got some posters up behind me if you can see them. This was like a round of short films that our collective, our group of friends and filmmakers put together because we were really bored doing a lot of corporate video work, and we just wanted to make some fun short films. We wanted to keep them easy, like one location, a couple of actors, but a good little premise that would encourage a lot of, back and forth dialogue. And I wanted to play around with writing a comedy. So we just sat down and came up with some briefs, and we were like, what's this simple situation we could do? Is there a situation with, a guy invites his friend over, but he won't tell him why. And then as he starts to poke at him and find out what the reason is, the situation keeps getting worse and worse. And so we had a lot of fun shooting that one. It was a very, very simple film. And we found these two actors who I really liked, and I was in the process of writing Psychosis, and I thought, what if I just got these guys back and give them similar characters? The joke is that they're in witness protection after Andy's venture, and so their names have changed, but they're the same guys. And we had a lot of fun shooting that one. We then went immediately into a couple of other short films. So my brother shot A Job Well Done, which is also where we met Darren from Psychosis. And my business partner, Jared Bartier, did Cheaters. And we shot them all kind of back to back within the same year.
Copy that. How cool, man. Do you have a favorite genre?
To make, I enjoy thrillers and horrors and that kind of thing. I don't have the money to do a fantasy. I'd love to do Lord of the Rings.
Not yet.
But not yet. So at the moment, I'm very much enjoying psychological thrillers. I think of my favorite thing to write, I guess, just because I have an interest in psychology. But I like a bit of everything. I'm probably never going to do a romance drama, but I'd like to do, like a period piece, like a Robert Eggers kind of thing, or sci-fi I would love to do. Pretty much the kind of stuff that I like to watch, I like to make.
Yeah. We're predicting it right here on the podcast. Soon. Just wait, guys. Fantasy, sci-fi. He's going to do it all. That's right.
Yeah.
And hey, you said romance comedy. You could throw in horror thriller and romance comedy.
If the right script was to come along, I might do it, but I doubt it. I don't think that's where my sensibility is. I'm more of a pulpy, extreme kind of filmmaker.
Right. Well, we love that too. But speaking of psychological thrillers and horror movies, a shout out to my man Corey for setting up this interview. Shout out for him. That's right. Make sure you check out Bliss of Evil, baby. Make sure you guys check that out. Really enjoyed that movie. But that's what we love about the horror genre. I'm sporting a shirt right here representing Carpenter, but there's so many different subgenres in horror, right? You got the slasher movie. You got the creature feature. And now we're talking psychological horror today. And we're going to get to Psychosis. So no more lollygagging. We're going to play the trailer for you guys watching this right now. Hold on to your butts.
Breathe. Try to remember this. Try to remember.
Are your voices? A sense of paracusia.
The voices are louder today.
The link between my internal senses and external perceptions is somewhat blurred.
Not a good sign.
Gives me a unique perspective on things.
They said you'd be weird.
They call me crying and screaming into the phone. This little fix they got themselves in sounded right up your alley.
He's seen this before.
You know what this could mean?
No, I do. That's why they need you.
You're too exposed.
Quickly.
Do you recognise this?
Chubini. This is Chubini's card.
Whoever sent these men has used some pretty scary methods. Mind control. With all the ways to abuse someone's mind. This is the worst.
Anyone who actually knows this guy is either dead or so scared.
He'll kill you. He'll kill anyone he thinks helps you.
Going to die. You're losing control.
I am here. I am the last thing you will ever see.
Nobody gives an adequate answer.
Yeah. Hey, ho, what? This movie scratches the psychological horror itch, baby. Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
It was like I started watching it, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. Let's see where this goes. And once the shit hits the fan, I was like all in. I was like, I can't stop watching this. This is really good. And for all of you that are watching this podcast right now, don't forget it's available to catch on Amazon Prime and Tubi. But if you watch it, make sure you have a really great surround sound system. I watched it with my headphones, and hearing the voices in Darren's head back and forth and all that was trippy, man. It was trippy because those voices don't stop, which is on purpose. But dude, well done, man. How did this project come about?
Well, the short films that we were mentioning earlier, we were doing a lot of those, and we put them into some film festivals, and they kind of did okay, but nothing really happened, and we were kind of a bit frustrated with the roulette game of making a short film to try and get noticed, and then the competition of the film festival circuit, and the fact that once you've made a short film, that's like it. They just go out and then they're done. You can't make any money off of them. They kind of just live a short life and then they disappear, and you just keep doing it until something hits and you win Sundance or something like that happens.
Right.
And we had just made 3 films in a row. So basically we'd shot probably what would be 40 minutes of film in a couple of months. And I thought, well, what if we just approached that with a feature? Just have a few scenes, and each one is a short film, and we shot it over a longer period of time than you would for a traditional feature. And we just thought, let's make a movie that we can sell and that can have its own life, and we'll find an audience, and people will want to actually buy it, because nobody really watches short films unless they're really into them. Whereas a feature, like, people love watching movies. So we wanted to just do that, just jump the queue a little bit and try to get a distributor and figure our way into the industry that way. And that was the motivation. And then I kind of just had a whole bunch of different ideas floating around in my head that I liked but didn't work on their own. So there was a little film noir story, and then there was another story about a hypnotist, and another story, I think, about something else. I can't really remember what all of these ideas were, but they all had one little nugget that ended up all coming together into Psychosis when I combined them all with the auditory hallucination aspect, and the fact that as someone's grip on reality starts to slip, a lot of cool stuff can happen, at least in terms of an entertaining film, not so much the condition itself. But I could tie hypnosis in with altered perception and hallucinations and all sorts of different things, and a drug dealer story mixed in with the hallucinogenic drugs. And once those pieces all fell into place, the Psychosis took form, and then I suddenly got extremely excited about that. And it stopped being, let's make a feature that we can sell, and it was like, let's just make the craziest movie possible and have a lot of fun. Because if we were to ever go and try to get financing, no one would put money into this film. It's the sort of film that I will only ever get to make once, and the only way I'll get to make it is to just do it and not have any responsibility to any wealthy individuals who I would need to pay back.
Right.
So it ended up just being, let's try something different and let's try to stand out a little bit and make something fun and one of a kind.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's fun and one of a kind. It feels fresh, different. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about it right now. And my man here is going to be giving some behind the scenes commentary. Let's watch it again as I bring it up. So how long did it take again to make the project?
7 years, I think, in total from script to release. So it was quite a long time. And the shoot was about 3 years. We were shooting mostly on weekends and public holidays, or when people could get time off work. But because it was such a low budget film, people had to keep their jobs. So It was very much like, when people are free, when can we slot in a scene or do a couple of shots here and there?
Copy that. But I won't spoil anything, but I got to talk about my man here, Lone Wolf. Okay. It's such an entertaining character, played by PJ here, who did some stunt work in Mortal Kombat. 2021 Mortal Kombat. So shout out to him doing some stunt work. You know, we got to support our stunt dudes here on our on the podcast. But man, okay, the inspiration for Lone Wolf. I mean, off the bat, the first thing I think of is like Kick-Ass or some kind of vigilante or Batman. What was the inspiration for Lone Wolf, man?
I think it probably was something a little bit like Kick-Ass. Maybe a little bit of Batman, but more so in the sense that if Batman were real and didn't have $1 billion, like what kind of person would do that? And I was exploring all of the different ways in which a person can lose grip on reality. And obviously there's the psychosis and the auditory hallucination side, but then there's also the delusional side, where people get so down a rabbit hole on something that's incredibly important to them that they almost kind of forget what the world is and live in this fantasy that they've created.
Right.
And I wanted to do something a little bit different. I didn't want to just have like the jacked up white guy superhero. I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. And this was before Black Panther had come out, so I didn't know that was fun and like with the accent until I saw Black Panther like halfway through the production. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay, Lone Wolf's going to work really well because I really enjoyed Black Panther and the way that he fit into the world and kind of some of his humorous moments, which were very much Lone Wolf style, where he's just from a different world, but he's kind of participating in a helpful way. So that was, I guess, where he came from. The whole film is just full of a lot of unique characters that I wanted to offset against some of the other characters, so that everyone had their own moments and their own kind of strange way that they fit.
Yeah. And he just kind of made me laugh once in a while. You know, he's like, my name's Lone Wolf. I work alone, you know. And then the character, you know, the Cliff, you know, that Darren plays, he's just messing with him because he's obsessed with you know, coffee.
Doesn't take him seriously.
Yeah, he's just like, you got any coffee in that utility belt of yours? Yeah. He's like, hey, don't mock me.
Well, that's the thing with Lone Wolf, is I wanted him to be a joke character, but then he also does prove himself, like he's capable.
Yeah.
So as much as he is, and that's kind of a core theme to the film, is that as much as we see these conditions as being, you know, like your life's ruined sort of thing, like you've got auditory hallucinations or a schizophrenic condition, like that's it, you're just like screwed up, you're going to be, you know, a wreck. But it's not necessarily the case, and a lot of times it's just a mental health, you know, or a psychological issue that you can kind of treat and deal with, and sometimes you can also be useful, like you still, you know, have a role to play in society. And I wanted Lone Wolf to not just be a gag. Like he talks a big game and everybody laughs at him because of his costume, but then he actually does kick ass.
Oh, dude, so, three body shots and you're down. That's it. You're down on the ground, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really enjoyed this character right here. But I love I wasn't, you know, when I hit play to watch the movie, I was not expecting this aspect ratio and the black and white color you used here. And it was just so cool. I think it elevated the movie more than it being in color. I think this black and white palette really benefited the film.
It's definitely got the film noir style, but I also wanted to play around with perception and, you know, the way people view the world. And so putting the film into black and white, you know, removes a lot of information that you would normally get from, you know, what you're watching or what you're looking at, which I can then play around with by throwing color back in. And then you've got optical illusions around how bright color looks once you've been deprived, or the aspect ratio feeling very claustrophobic or hyper-focused, so that you're almost forced to look at something and you're unable to be aware of your surroundings. But then on top of that, you've got the voices, which are kind of expanding the world out. So it's playing with your kind of normal experience of the world and giving you, like, forcing you to experience it differently, so that you can kind of think about it in a new way and think about your own day-to-day experiences.
Yeah, copy that. But yeah, I was reading some other comments of the people that enjoyed the film, and they were like, this definitely has David Lynch vibes in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, my two favorite comparisons were David Lynch and Darren Aronofsky, early Darren Aronofsky.
Yes.
So
yes, I can see that. Look at this guy. Kind of Donnie Darko vibe there.
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, but this character, man, this I mean, look at these guys. Look at these handsome lads right here. Oh my goodness. You know, when I first started watching this, I was like, can he talk to the dead? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
But
well, interestingly, it's all based off of real, if not a real condition. I've been very careful not to say that he has this condition. But a lot of it is based off of real people's accounts of their own experiences with unique, you know, types of hallucination. So like having a narrator is a real thing. Hearing different voices that are, like, some are mean and some are kind, or some are encouraging and some are really depressed. That's quite common. And I wanted to show a wide variety of different experiences through the character.
Oh yeah, those voices did not let up. They were fucking with them the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing as well, is like that there's a couple of scenes where I give the audience a break, but I didn't want to shy away from the fact that you're in this guy's head and his life is like that. It's constant for him. And so I wanted to at least, you know, it gets in the way sometimes, or it's, you know, sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not very helpful. Right.
But I mean, him telling the narrator to shut up, as everybody saw in the trailer a couple seconds ago, that was hilarious. Oh man, what the fuck is going on?
Other characters knowing that that's what he's experiencing, and so they can break the fourth wall a little bit. I enjoy playing with that a lot as well.
Yeah, but congrats getting all these accolades here, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, we did pretty well. Yeah, especially in the horror circuit.
Yeah, and the character of Hess here was not expecting what happens with her character in the finale, in the third act. I did not see that coming at all. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
it's baseball bat time. What?
Yeah. Well, we wanted to give every character one great scene, like one scene where they get to just have fun. So a lot of the time, you know, there's quiet moments where everyone's talking, and then you want to give them their moment, especially for the cast. If they're coming onto a low budget film, you have to give them, you know, good catering, a good time on set, and then you also want them to be able to watch something cool that they've done at the end of the project. So
right. This scene in the movie right here, this ambush, this was just, the way you filmed it was perfect, because it was just chaos. It was just chaotic from beginning to end, man. Like, it was just nuts. And the whole concept of was it the Hollow Men?
Hollow Men, yeah. It's like my version of what a real world zombie could be.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was really interesting.
And there was our little homage to the Night of the Living Dead as well. having a bit of fun with that.
Yeah.
So I've always enjoyed zombie films.
But yeah, even the soundtrack was very well done too. Fit the movie perfect.
We were very lucky. There's a local Adelaide band called Slow Mango, and they do a lot of like world music, sort of I guess cross genre, cross national, like cross culture music.
Yeah.
And they have this whole studio full of instruments. So they had like theremins and xylophones and guitars and marimbas or whatever they're called. And
Yeah.
they were just really interesting. And the guy that writes the music is also creating his own musical language, which I was really interested in. So he was already kind of on my wavelength with, you know, going into, you know, really pulling things apart and having fun with the structure of things. And so him and his bandmate, 80, this was Matt and 80 from Slow Mango. Yeah, they did an amazing job. I was really happy with the music, and it really ties the film together and gives each character a theme, and there's like recurring motifs all through the film, which hopefully helps make things a little bit clearer for the audience.
Yeah, that's cool, man. But yeah, here's a great example of some rare moments of actual color making its way into the movie, and that means things are getting serious now.
Mm-hmm. You have to pay attention.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Was it Jubani? What was it?
Jubini.
Yeah.
He was a character from another film, and I wanted to include him really badly, and this was the perfect opportunity to include him. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man. You don't want to mess with him.
No.
But it's so interesting.
And a friend of the mask that he wears, which it comes up towards the end of the trailer, was designed by an artist friend of mine, Andrew Coleman, as well. And he's really interested in surrealist art and like weird monsters and deep sea creatures. And we wanted something that would be completely unrecognizable and strange and like looks like a face upside down, but also right way up. And that was another instance of someone doing amazing work just for my little independent film. That drug lab in the background was made by a chemist friend of mine.
Oh, right here?
Real lab work. Yeah, we rated the University of South Australia's like drug lab. Not a drug lab, but their chemistry department. And he made he offered to make a legitimate, like he sort of knew how to do it. And I thought, better not. Like the Breaking Bad mentality of don't actually teach people how to make stuff. Right. But he made this weird contraption that makes a type of sense, but it doesn't actually make anything. But everything is actually connected correctly to everything else. And he showed it to a few of his lecturers, and they were fascinated by. They didn't know what it was, but they were like, "It makes sense as a drug lab, but it doesn't make anything."
Hey, it's good for the set, man. It's good for the scene here.
It was a great strap. Like it was a piece of art. It was a great, great sculptural piece.
Yeah. Look at these guys here. These guys are like, we're in over our head, aren't we? We're fucked, aren't we? Look at these guys. They're like, oh, we're screwed.
Yeah.
I loved how they were so sincere earlier on being entrepreneurs and businessmen.
Yes, and it all, especially for the guy on the left in the business attire who's trying so hard. His arc in the film is just. He keeps getting beaten down constantly. Reality keeps knocking him around. So he had these two guys are a lot of fun. And they're really nice to work with. So we had heaps of fun shooting their scenes.
Nice.
They provide almost all of the comedy for the film.
But again, another thing I wasn't expecting was these really creative visuals that would happen and stand out. And it was just like this shot right here, man. Like this is how did you do that?
It's a real graveyard in the country down in South Australia, but the graves I had to Photoshop into those are the real graves from that graveyard. They're all dilapidated and but we added all of the clustering of them, so we digitally moved them around. I added a lot of reversed incense smoke, and the fire up in the background in the bell tower is digital. So that's it's a lot of digital work, but it's all real assets. So like it's a real fire and some real smoke and some real incense and real graves. And we just kind of collaged them back together.
It's so trippy, man. Like this movie.
Yeah.
Was there some extra footage filmed about a Lone Wolf's character, like maybe his past?
There was actually, but when we were watching some test screenings, we realized that it kind of derailed the story a little bit. Like Lone Wolf was never central enough to the story that you would really be invested. He's too strange, first of all, so you already can't really relate to him in a direct way. And then having him give a backstory kind of just felt out of place in the end. So we ended up cutting that out. But we did talk a little bit about like what was his motivation, where he had come from, why he particularly was so upset with Jubini. But yeah, it just.
Can you mention that here, or that's spoilers?
I guess I can. It was a sort of story of someone never disclosed what country he was from, but somewhere in Africa where they have a drug problem. He'd lost a lot of family and friends, and he'd immigrated to Australia or wherever the film is set to get away from it. And it obviously screwed him up quite a bit. But when he sees what Jubini is doing to a lot of people down here, it kind of brings it all up again, and he goes into a bit of a spiral, loses his mind a little bit, and needs to protect his sense of vulnerability and the fact that he can't escape by turning himself into a superhero, basically. But it was a little bit too much to include in the film, especially when he's such a comedic sort of character. There was just a lot of tonal issues with that. So we kind of leave it a little bit to anyone to fill in how he could have come to be this character.
I assumed it was probably maybe pacing issues, or but now that you've explained it, it's cool to hear the backstory exclusively right here on the podcast. Thank you, sir. Thank you. But
and I think PJ the actor brought a lot to it as well, so it allowed him to fill it in and give the character a bit of his own unique spin as well. So sometimes it's nice not to spell everything out.
That's what I was going to say. It's kind of it makes them more. It makes them stand out more.
And it lets you think about it. Like, you want people to think about the film once they've finished. You don't want them to just like get everything and then leave and be fully satisfied, never think about it again. You want people to remember it and have questions and want to rewatch it.
And a little bit more backstory past with the sister and kind of what happened.
Well, it's sort of outlined in the film. I never go into too much detail because you get a little bit of exposition through the voices of something bad happened to both him and his sister. Our hero and his sister are experimented on by their father, who has a connection to the villain and all of the mind manipulation that goes on.
Sounds like Father of the Year. Father of the Year.
He screwed up his kids to try and unlock human potential, and ended up giving his son these auditory hallucinations and put his daughter in a coma. But it's never really explained, like something to do with how to make a Hollow Man, maybe like experimenting on that stuff that wasn't perfected that goes wrong. And then you see Jubini kind of using those techniques to more cruel, like even if you want to argue that maybe the father had like noble intentions and it just went wrong, Jubini is using those same tactics to deliberately ruin people's lives.
Right. That's what I was figured what was going on. But for a second there, I was like, are we going to pull Empire Strikes Back? Jubini their father? Is
well, there's a little bit of that. Like that's too classic a trope for me to try and do. But there was a lot of stuff a lot of the backstory sort of stuff. I could have gone into more detail on it. It became difficult. Some things needed to be explained. Other things were maybe better to keep simple. But there was a lot of back and forth in the edit, like a lot of tonal stuff that was really tricky to get my head around. Because it goes from comedy to horror to then you need to explain characters' motivations and characters' backstories. And then it gets really weird and, hard to follow. So that was probably the hardest thing about the film. And we did end up having to go back and re-edit, reshoot, rewrite certain sequences, and Jubini's big monologue in the middle where he tells the connection between him and his father, that was made a lot more overt in rewrites and reshoots because it somewhat got lost throughout the original cut of the film. It was a little bit challenging,
but still it all worked out in the end. But this scene right here, where Darren's trying to get information, usually when you see scenes like this in like action movies and other films, you know, especially spy movies or martial arts films and stuff, you know, the person trying to get the hero trying to get the information right from the thug or assassin or whatever, and either two things will happen. The assassin will kill himself on purpose. There's like something in his tooth, right? He's going to crack his tooth, kill himself. Or out of nowhere, there's somebody with a gun or a bow and arrow. Instead of that person killing the hero, he kills the assassin, which always makes me laugh. That trope always made me laugh. It's like, just shoot the hero, but they shoot the assassin, right? But this was interesting right here because you have a similar scene, but this is against his will, man.
Yeah.
You know, like this is not his choice, what he's about to do to himself.
No, he's not even aware of his own name almost. So I really wanted to show, because you don't get a lot of opportunities in the film to really see kind of like the human cost of a lot of what Jubini does. You see sort of, obviously there's a lot of really heightened stuff like the zombies, but I wanted a scene where you can really feel like, well, imagine if you did have someone get into your brain and just take away who you are, and how much would that suck, or someone that you knew if that happened to them. And like you said, like the trope of you going to interrogate someone and maybe the hero will rough them up. But he really genuinely like wants to help this guy. He feels really bad for him. And this guy didn't do anything wrong. He's just been trapped. And the suicide, you know, it's not something where he's like, oh, I better protect the secrets and this is the best thing for me. Like he doesn't want to do any of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It was trippy, man. Trippy stuff. But these guys.
That scene's probably my favorite scene in the whole film.
Oh my god! Another thing I don't think I've ever noticed when someone's trying to get the information from the bad guy. He had him at one point. He had him in a chokehold and the balls at the same time. He was like doing this. I don't think I've ever seen that. It's either one or the other.
No. Yeah, this was inspired by a friend of mine. Actually had testicular torsion when he was playing sport.
Oh god!
And he was telling me how much it hurt, and it probably would be up there with you know the worst pain that a man can feel.
I'd scream.
And I'd always wanted to do something with that, and I thought it would be a great interrogation technique. It's like there's so many torture scenes where you're like, okay, what could you do to someone?
Yeah,
you know, you put electrodes on their nipples or whatever, and I was like, I want to do something unique that would be done by a scrappy guy. Just what does he have at hand? Well, he can grab them by the balls and he can threaten to sever their manhood, I guess, in a really scary way. And the effects of testicular torsion are pretty awful, with all the nausea and the vomiting, and like it would be a horrible thing to go through. So, you know, I want to, and it, you know, it emasculates as well. Anything to do with the balls always emasculates a thug character. So,
man,
it was a lot of fun.
I probably sound like this. That would be me in this situation. But yeah, another thing I wasn't expecting was a little bit of fight choreography in this movie. We had a little bit of, we had some beatdowns going here.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was quite a lot of that. A lot of people actually accidentally hitting each other, especially in the skeleton sequence. A lot of the takes we used were accidental real hits.
Right.
But yeah, the actors all do their own stunts. Well, PJ is a stunt guy, so he was doing his own stunts. But all the people he beats up were just extras that we brought in, and they got really into it. We had fake knives and things like that, so nobody was at risk of anything. And the baseball bat was foam, but all just like local Adelaide actors doing their own fights and stunts and throwing themselves around.
Hey, taking bumps for the craft. For the craft, man.
Yeah,
that's right. Look at this shot. Look at that.
That's a real bridge that we've got in our city. The architecture is designed to twist like that, and we thought, well, that's the perfect. There was a lot of things for this film that ended up just being like the perfect timing or the perfect location for this exact project. So we're very, very lucky, or depending how spiritual you are, it was very faithful that a lot of this stuff was available right when we needed it. And yeah. But that bridge was too much to pass up. It was like, I got to fit that in somewhere. We'll put it in a montage. We'll just include it because we have to.
Yeah. Well, it fits the movie. This whole movie's a trip, especially these sequences right here, man.
Yeah, the hardcore horror sequences. Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Jubini does not fuck around.
No.
And I think he enjoys his work. Do you? I think he enjoys it.
Yeah. He's a very messed up character. We were recording the dialogue for Jubini, James, the performer, and we were playing around with. The voice doesn't work for everyone because his intonation is very unusual, and the way that he speaks is very stilted. But we wanted to make him inhuman in a way that was sort of like he doesn't have normal emotions. He can't comprehend the way that other people would, like each other or get along together. Like even there's a scene where he says, "You and I are cooperating," and the way that he pronounces cooperating is almost as if he doesn't really get what that word is, but he's forcing someone to help him. And we had a lot of fun playing with just how deranged he could be and how uncomfortable he could make you feel just through the way that he speaks.
He's a monster. I think it's perfect. I think the way James voiced him was perfect. He's a monster.
Yeah.
That's what happens when this is what happens when you push Cliff to the brink, man. All right. Boom. And who's this massive? This guy's giant. Where'd you find this guy?
He's a local security guard in Adelaide. He's done a bit of opera. He played the mountain
Opera?
in a stage play of Game of Thrones.
All right.
And he's 6'11", so he's very, very tall.
I wonder what character he played. We all know, right?
We were looking for someone who would just be huge. I wanted like the Jaws style Bond villain to have a henchman, that kind of trope. And I wanted to find someone really tall. And we were trying to find two really massive muscular guys or two really tall guys. And we couldn't find a pair that matched.
Right. Okay.
And then a friend of mine had made a film with Adam, whose nickname is Tiny, obviously. And I asked to be introduced, and we caught up, and I said, "Would you like to play twins or clones or something, like a pair of dudes, and we'll split screen or we'll green screen you together?" And he got really excited to play that and have two of himself on the screen. But yeah, he's really nice. He's like this really soft, gentle giant, and then we get him to play this incredibly tough,
Oh yeah,
brute.
Yeah. But another scene that stood out for me when you have the character of Cliff upside down, watching this fight, watching Lone Wolf kick these guys' ass in the kitchen, and the whole fight is his perspective upside down. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
No, I've never seen it. I don't want to say that it's never been done, but part of the motivation was to always to try and do something a bit different. Like you've got action scenes that people have seen. Like we're never going to compete with The Matrix or with a kung fu movie. So what can we do that will make that scene stand out? And
Right.
we put a fight scene in a scene where someone is losing their mind or their mind is breaking. It was sort of the perfect moment to chuck a fight scene in and have it upside down. And it was very difficult to shoot that because you have to slow the fight down, because if you did it at full speed, you can't watch it. You get really nauseous.
Right.
So we had to do everything very careful. All the edits were very carefully structured so that a viewer who had a little bit of time to get used to the film being upside down, because I think it's like a 10-minute sequence where the film's upside down, but you're kind of not ready for that kind of level of movement, and you're expecting things to connect, and when things swap coverage around and the camera moves, you kind of lose where you are. So we had to very carefully plan that one out to make sure that you could follow it, because people fall upwards when they're meant to fall downwards, and it's and the camera tilting down is tilting up, and we filmed it all with the monitor on upside down so that I could see it, and it was a bit of a logistical challenge.
But again, one of the highlights of the movie, it really stood out. But this is a cool shot of Lone Wolf right here.
Yeah, he gets a lot of good moments. He kind of steals the film a little bit, in my opinion. He's one of my favorite characters.
But yeah, Hess, this baseball batting fools. I was like, what? Was not expecting that at all. Just such great visuals, man. Like this right here of Lone Wolf hitting himself. Oh, so cool, man. There's the mask. Look at that.
There's the mask, with the teeth at the top and the gums and
But yeah, man, the visuals really, really stood out. Shots like that, look at that. The superhero villain. I don't know, man. You got me wanting your next project to do like a straight up horror themed superhero movie, man, like comic book movie.
Yeah, we could do a lot of spin-off. We could do all sorts of things. Yeah, no, it'd be. We had heaps of fun coming up with ideas and figuring out how to do a lot of these effects, because some of them are really simple, and some of them are really annoying green screening and rotoscoping, and we didn't have any, like, most of this stuff is just me on my computer trying to figure out how to do it. Like, we had an idea going in, but I'd never done a lot of that stuff before. And it's a lot of trial and error, and there's some shots that took an entire week to do. So,
copy that. Hey, all you producers out there, hey, get this guy to direct the next Constantine movie. There you go. You're my pick, sir. You are my pick to direct the next Constantine thing.
I'll get that in writing. I'll take that to the producers.
Yes. So good. Telling the narrator, shut up. Made me laugh. I was busted up. Yeah, son. Psychosis, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Amazon Prime. Tubi. Will there be any physical releases of it? DVD, Blu-ray, or...
Look, I would like to. Because I think that's a good thing to do for any film, and I would love for people to see some more behind the scenes. There's behind the scenes available on YouTube, so that's technically been my physical release. If you find the Psychosis YouTube account, you can find some behind the scenes interviews with the actors and some behind the scenes footage. No plans for a digital release. Our distributor, being such a niche film, they're not putting a lot of resources behind it because the chance of return is a lot lower, and I understand that. But there is definitely the potential down the line. There's never say never. We've had a few theatrical. We did a theatrical release locally a few weeks ago, just a single screening. But we brought a lot of people in to talk, and we did a Q&A. So
hell yeah!
I think the film will have legs, and we'll keep pushing it. It came out over a year ago, and I'm still trying to do interviews and get it out there. So
that's what you got me for. That's right. But yeah, man, I hope eventually more eyes will land on it. It sounds like it's already on its way. It just took a little longer than expected, but it's all right. Yep. Better late than never, baby.
These small films always take a while to find their audience, so I'm not panicking or anything. I'm just letting it be its thing. It's a very tricky film to market because it's not familiar. It doesn't look like a film in the traditional sense. So you have to work a lot harder to get people to click on it and give it a chance, and then hopefully the word of mouth builds from there. But
I'm glad I gave it a chance. And you're letting it marinate, son. It's just marinating.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh my goodness. But this was an absolute blast, sir, to have you here hanging out with me in the dojo. Hey, before we wrap it up for today, because I could talk to this guy about horror thrillers all day, but before we wrap it up, he's got filmmaking to do. All right. Before we wrap it up, anything you'd like to say to your fans and followers?
I guess just thanks for tuning in. I hope you give Psychosis a chance, especially because I'm trying to make more weird films. I would like to make more interesting films in a similar vein, perhaps not as extreme, but I've got more screenplays that I'm working on. So to know that there is an audience out there and to have that and have excitement is really good. I'm just working on a load of other films. Keep an eye out in a couple of years for a film called The Sundowner, which I'm doing art department on, which has a Western or a Southern set in Australia, set in the 1930s with lots of fun revenge plots and guns going off and people running around in the country with an interesting country. Like it's normally like the American West, but we've got the, incredible Australian outback as our backdrop for that one. So
Western guns going off. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And also interesting history and true stories and
nice.
It's a really cool project. So I'm working on other people's films, I'm working on my films, and they're all building. There's lots of stuff going on. Australia in general is having a bit of a cinematic renaissance at the moment.
Let's go.
So
shout out to Australia, baby. That's right.
Check out Australian independent films. Watch them. Please
do this. Hell yeah, man! You know what? You said a couple of seconds ago. You said that you want to make more weird films. Maybe not as weird as Psychosis, but we need
That one's
weird.
the weirdest I'll ever do. Yeah.
Yeah, we need weird, Mr. Martin.
Yeah.
We need more weird, especially when you're getting tired of the same old big budget disappointments that come out in the theaters. We need the weird. We need an alternative to the big budget crap. So for all you producers out there, that's right. Let's go. Yeah. Let's get Psychosis a physical release. Let's get it out there and support this guy. Constantine 2, baby. Let's go. I want him to do Constantine 2. You heard it right here. Let's go. Yeah. But thank you so much, brother, for hanging out. This is your second home now? It's your second home, man.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out.
I love your collection. I'll have to check that out at some point.
Oh, yeah. I got it's Nerd Kingdom back here. It's movie geekness back here. But all you awesome horror movie loving badasses that are watching this right now, don't forget to click on the links below where you can follow my man on Instagram, all the socials, the YouTube channel, all that good stuff. And hey, if you enjoyed yourself, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Old Samurai Guy. Watch the Movie Dojo podcast right here on YouTube and on Spotify. And we'll see you badasses on the next one. Take care. Psychosis, baby.